Welcome to Know Your Money, where we will explore our relationship with money and how the psychology of it impacts our financial decisions, as everyone thinks about money differently. In our podcast, we'll be presenting a variety of financial topics in an easy-to-understand way, which we hope will assist you with managing your money. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Know Your Money. Craig Warren.
Another week went by so quickly.
Really jumped the gun there, Craig.
Happy to be in the studio again.
Yes.
Thanks for having us.
Last long week.
Always a pleasure, never a chore.
Absolutely.
Warren.
So today's episode, we have spoken previously about buckets and envelopes and, you know, like if you give, every rand needs a plan, and when you give those plans, it's really helpful. And we've had a few people asking us like, what buckets or what envelopes should you have? So I thought we can shoot a few ideas today just to help people with one or two. Is there any that you think are quite important?
Well, my one that I always have to save for and think about is my subscription to my sports club.
Okay.
So that always comes around at the wrong time, February after a holiday. Yeah, so the important thing is I put money aside for that, so in a separate envelope. So
Monthly.
That's all monthly. Every month I put away, so I know when that time comes, I've got the money to pay for the annual subscriptions. And slowly over the years, there's a little bit extra in there.
Oh,
so
nice.
you have to put less away to make sure you don't have that big, oh my goodness, we've got this annual thing to pay. So I think that's one thing. Probably another one is a holiday fund. You know, suddenly the holidays come, wherever it is, whenever you take it, whether it's mid-year or when the children go on holiday, that big August holiday, or perhaps over December when a lot of factories close. Suddenly you got, oh my goodness, a holiday. Do I maybe need to put new tires on my car? So you could even have an envelope for that.
Absolutely. And those are the ideas that I think people need to get, because, you know, I don't think you think about it until it happens, but that's also something that I found so useful. Like I had one or two buckets in my bank accounts, and then all of a sudden I had a debit order for my Calm app, my one subscription of that app. And I was like, oh, okay, let me add a subscription bucket. So I think every time you have those moments where like, oh, I need to buy new tires, then the moment that happens, start a bucket for that.
Because
is the kind of thought process.
Especially those big ticket items like tires for your car, or holiday when you need to find deposits and spending money on the holiday. It's nice to have it throughout the year, and suddenly you've got this bucket, this envelope of money, and you don't have to go and dig into anything else.
Absolutely.
So I had a fairly big one recently. It was a child. So when we found out my wife was pregnant, we started an envelope or a separate bank account, savings account, that every month I would put money into. And so happy that we did, because...
Where did you get that idea from?
This weird podcast I keep hearing about. It's called Know Your Money. You should probably check it out. I'm really glad that we did. And we actually, after all the medical stuff and all, you know, buying baby stuff, had sort of ceased the big buys, the big purchases, and the big medical bills. We still had some left over, which is now rolling into a house fund.
Awesome.
So we were covered. We didn't have to worry about rent. We didn't have to worry about anything because we'd set aside a decent amount of money.
Oh, well done.
Yeah.
That is so great. And like, you know, exactly what you're saying now when it comes to kids. You know, now you're going to, okay, I don't know if you are bottle feeding yet, but say you do go on to formula. That's going to be an expense every month, and nappies. What happens is as soon as that formula stops, that money goes somewhere else. Yeah. But if you can try and be mindful of how much you spend on formula and then take that into something else, that would also help so much. And like with kids, school holidays, so even if you're not going on holiday, when it's school holidays, I find that you do spend more money because you like, you know, you go do an activity or you meet a friend for lunch. And so I really find a school holiday fund as a parent is a really good one to have.
I just want to also warn any future husbands who are first-time fathers that maternity leave leaves a lot of time for your wife to be shopping online.
Exactly.
So get onto that. Take control of the phone because she has a lot of time.
Yes.
To be shopping.
This ties in with a few episodes ago when we spoke about the conscious spending plan, which is probably a lighter way of looking at your budget, and it gives you more awareness around it. So what happens now, you're refining that. So your envelopes, okay, I'm going to go on holiday, and now I need an envelope for the holiday, but maybe I'm going to go on an overseas holiday. So I need to put extra money for an overseas holiday as well as a local holiday. If I have a local holiday, I might need tires for my car. So you can have 3 envelopes coming out of one idea for a holiday. And I think that's if you can do that and you can assign money to that, then when those bigger ticket items come, you don't have a shock. It's easy to handle and you've already provided for it.
And you know exactly what you're saying, I think, is like, we basically should have said that in the conscious spending plan episode, is you might not have to go look at your budget, but if you start budgeting forward, so you know these expenses are coming up and you're conscious of what is going to happen, if you put those barriers in place. So even if it's 50 Rand a month into your whatever bucket, that will help when it does turn around. And I think those things are so important. Like, so for me, I have a self-care bucket. So, I have a certain amount that I can do my hair or whatever it is. And then I can only go when that bucket has the amount that I need.
Brilliant.
And a subscription bucket and a kids extra bucket. And we even, as our family, have a takeout budget. Because what was happening is we use that weekly spending plan. So we only give ourselves a certain amount every week. And we didn't realize how much of that money was going towards takeout. So now we've lowered the weekly spending plan and we have a separate takeout bucket. So if we go to a restaurant, I just do a quick transfer from that bucket into the card and pay for our meals out. But it's trying to curb how much we're eating out. We don't always stick to it, but we're also more mindful of it. Like, okay, we've gone over our budget. Like,
you know what I really like about that? It's like you put a physical barrier to you easily just swiping the card.
Yes, you're becoming conscious.
Yeah, so I have I think I've told you about the Wise card I have, which allows me to do into Rand transfer some of my pounds if and when I need. And because we were saving for the baby and then saving for house and then I've got to pay rent and all that stuff here, I would be doing certain spending, almost like a bucket, out of my pound account. And then having that extra barrier of, well, I can't access these pounds until I've put them into rands on this card. So it was that extra barrier.
Yeah.
And it makes you think twice before you do things.
And that's exactly that. You need boundaries. Everything in life needs to know where the boundaries are, where the barriers are. And if you put those in, you better.
But it's so satisfying when you go to that bucket, the envelope. For example, with my sports club annual fees, I open the bucket, the envelope, and there the money is. It's a satisfying feeling. It really is. There's no pressure.
You know what? One thing I have found, though, with some clients that have done this is they have started their like car emergency bucket, for example, like you said, the tires. But new tires would cost, let's say, 5,000 Rand. But then they only had 2,000 Rand. Then they had to take money from another bucket to fill up that bucket. And that was a really hard thing for them to do. But my thing is, you would have got the full amount from somewhere else in the first place. So don't be hard on yourself.
The full amount on a credit card.
Exactly. Don't be hard on yourself. And if you have to put half on the credit card, that's also okay. It's only a year later that I have all my buckets full.
It takes a
Be
while.
a little bit hard on yourself because you're holding yourself accountable and you're going, okay, I need to be better at this.
Yeah, but you can't be better if you've just started and then that thing happens, is what I'm saying.
I get that. I'm not saying bully yourself, but I'm saying that there's nothing wrong, I believe, with being a little bit strict with yourself and going, oh, you didn't have enough this time, let's make sure.
Exactly.
Correct.
Yes, so instead of it being 500 Rand, put 600 Rand a month away.
From it.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I think that was a good one. So
Yeah, the envelopes is a wonderful way of relieving stress in your financial life.
And I think the biggest take home is every single time you go, oh, where am I going to get the money from that? that is the new name of your bucket, and start that bucket.
So do that again?
Good on.
Where am I going to get my money for that?
How do you spell that? Okay, cool.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, guys.
Nice
Go
one.
well.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this podcast, would like to subscribe, please visit our website, www.growthfp.co.za. The information we have provided in this podcast is our personal opinion. For more detailed information, please discuss your financial situation with a financial planner.